I have been wanting to come to Hyderabad since I came to Australia for the first time as I came to India for the first time in 1995 as Public Service Commissioner. And then I was fortunate enough when I was the Secretary of the Department of the Prime Minister and Cabinet, which is like the Cabinet Secretary, to accompany Prime Minister John Howard to India in 2006. Wonderful because when I think back to when I was first here in 1995, it is absolutely clear to me the extraordinary changes that have taken place here since the early 1990s. It is visible as I go around, and it is particularly clear as I talk to people. And I've had a wonderful opportunity. I've been given the opportunity to talk to Cabinet Secretary Seth. I've had the chance to go to Missouri to visit where the institute, where the Indian public servants are trained. I've had the chance to talk to the Planning Committee and the Economic Advisory Council. I came into government when things were changing, just as they changed here in the early 1990s. I came into government at the time in which our immigration policy was being opened up, when we were welcoming in foreign capital, when we were reducing the high levels of tariff protection that we had, when we were deregulating our finances. So in my time, and I spent then 20 years in the public service, we've had Aboriginal people in Australia for what we think is 60,000 years. That's one of the oldest living cultures, 60,000 years. When I do graduation ceremonies at my university in Western Sydney, I always make sure that all those know that we are meeting on land where I know from archaeological excavation Aboriginal people have been living for 36 or 37,000 years. And I think it always puts graduation into perspective. And then I went from being secretary there to education and employment, and then, luckily, into the Prime Minister's department. There's no being a member of the batch of 2004. After that, every job you go for, you will have to apply for and get on merit, and not just against other members who've come in under the elite, against anybody. So when I got my job, I wasn't even in the public service. I was competing from the university against public servants and got the job on merit. Now, I think, that sort of competition adds a sort of an emphasis on performance management. But let me be very clear. I have seen at first hand the way the Indian Administrative Service is trying to focus more on performance management. Like it will have to be here, it came with a whole set of compromises, because you had to get it through the Senate. And so there were compromises that there was no GST on food, and there was exclusion from educational books, but it got through and has been transformative.